I'm back again with another video, and in this video we'll be writing a custom ESLint rule. Many times we need to enforce some coding style or practice which is very specific to a product or an organization. Thus knowing how to write a custom ESLint rule helps a lot in enforcing those practices. So let's get started. I'll start with the project setup. I'll do npm init. I'll go with the default settings, and then I'll be installing ESLint. npmi ESLint -safdev. So now we have installed ESLint as dev dependency. Let's start configuring it. I'll do npm init at ESLint /config. And it should start asking me some basic questions which I can answer. So I'll go with this. I'll go with JavaScript export. None of this. Not as of now. I'll be choosing Node. Use a popular guide style. I'll go with Airbnb. I'll choose JavaScript. Yes, I would like to install. I'll go with npm. And now that it is installed, let's quickly test it if it's installed properly. So I'll create a file called index.js, and I'll write a function here to test it. I'll call it testlint, and then here I'll just do a console log something, and if I save it, and I can see I am getting some ESLint warnings saying this is an unexpected console statement and it's coming from ESLint no console rule. That means our setup is in place, and now we'll be seeing how we can implement a custom rule. So let's first figure out what we'll be doing in that custom rule. So what I'll be doing is I'll go ahead and create a file called utils.js, and here I'll be writing two functions. Let's call it old method, which actually does nothing, so I'll just say I do nothing, and let's export it. I'll create another function and I'll call it new method, and this also does nothing. I'll be just using them for demo purposes. So the idea is to mark this old method as deprecated, and every instance of old method in code should be reported, and it should be fixed by replacing it with a new method. And that's what our custom ESLint rule should be doing. So let's see how we can implement that. So I'll go ahead and I'll create a folder called plugins, and in here I'll create another folder which will be our custom ESLint rule. So I'll be naming it frontend -ESLint, and in here we'll create an index.js, and from here we need to export an object which should have a key called rules. Okay, now this rule expect a particular schema, so I'll be actually walking you through that. So let's say ESLint custom rule, and if you go to the official ESLint website, basically that rule should have these two information called meta and create. So we'll need these ideally. So let's create our rule. I'll name it as I'll call it no old method, and I'll this from here module dot exports will be doing meta, will be exporting meta, and then we'll be exporting a method called create, which will give us the context, and based on that we'll be doing something which will be seeing in a minute. Now that we have, let's go ahead and import it here. Node method, and I'll do require, I'll be checking it from here. I'll just call this one as old, no old method, and I'll reassign this. So I think this should be fine. We need to implement this, and let's use this util functions in our main index file so that we can actually verify our rule. So I'll be doing import it from utils, and I'll be using the old method. I'll just go ahead and call this old method here, and just call this method here. So that should be all. Think now what is happening. Okay, I think now we have the skeleton in place. Now our main goal is to implement this method, and to implement that method I'll be using one tool which is called AST Explorer. This will help us visualize how that index file will look like when it will be actually passed into an AST, and from there we'll figure out how we can identify the instances of old method and how we'll be replacing it. So let's copy the code in index.js. I'll go ahead and put it in AST Explorer. So I'll go ahead and paste it, and from here let's choose ESPRE, which is for ESLint. If you are wondering how I chose ESPRE, you can just Google ESLint, and on their website, 1 second, ESLint custom rules, somewhere they have a getting started page. Where is it? And in here you'll find ESLint uses ESPRE for JavaScript parsing, right? So that's why I chose ESPRE over here, and then I'll be doing ESLint over here. Okay, so now this is how, if you see here, this is how it looks when it gets parsed into in over here, and this is how it looks as a AST when the JavaScript is parsed. So now we need to actually implement this function, right? This is the function which we will be implementing over here. So let's see how we can do it. So let's go through these lines. So here if you see, we have an import declaration, and then we have a function declaration, and then we have expression declaration. So inside this, if I go, I'll see again some function declarations, some blocks, some expression statements. So let's see, and then we have some call expressions. So let's see if I want to find all the call expressions in this file. So what I'll be doing is I'll be replacing this template literal with this call expression. And what I'll be doing is I'll just comment out these, and I'll be just uh, let's just print node, what we are getting in node. So I'll do console log node, and we'll see what we are getting actually. Undefined of length something, and this is causing some error, so let's get rid of this for now. And then you'll see we are getting two nodes over here. The first one is for the old method which is being called, and the second one is for the test lint. So these are the two methods which is getting called in here, which is true, right? The old method is getting called and the test lint is getting called. Since we are worried only about the old method, we'll be actually filtering that first. So let's see how we can filter it. So if I look at the node, in node we have a callee, and the callee name is old method. So let's first filter that one out. So what I'll be doing is I'll change this statement to if node dot callee dot name is equal to old method. In that case, let's do this. So I'll be moving this inside this. And now what we'll be doing is, let's call it do not use. We'll update the message to do not use old method. And in fixer, what I'll be doing is I'll just say node dot start and node dot end, and it should be replaced with new method. Alright, so I think this should be it. So I'll just copy this and let's test it in VS Code. I'll copy this, I'll paste it here, fix all problems. Anyways, type problem, let's copy this and add it in here, save it. Okay, now that we have here, what we need to do is we need to install the custom lint and custom lint rule that we have wrote, and we also need to tell it to the ESLint RC. So we'll add a new option of plugin, and should be an array, and I'll be saying of front end hyphen ESLint. So this is what our ESLint rule is, and then in here I can say of frontend slash ESLint rule, and then no old method. I can give it 2 for error, and then I need to install this as well. So I'll go to package.json, I'll call it ESLint plugin hyphen this, and this should be actually from a file, and that file name we need to provide, so it should be file colon, what is the path here? It's plugins hyphen of front end, actually this path only. I'll just go ahead and copy this, save it, let's run npmi again, and since it worked, so let's verify our node modules if this got installed. Yeah, so I can see this in node modules now. Okay, so now that we have here, let's go and try to run npm run lint. Missing a script. Okay, I think I don't have any script, so I'll add a script for it. I'll be calling it lint and I'll be saying it and now I'll try to run it again, and now it is complaining that do not use the old method and it is in index.js. Let's go to index.js. Okay, we already is complaining do not use old method, right? And it is suggesting some quick fix. So if I click, it is giving me an option that fix this of frontend yes lint, no old method. So if I click it, it will replace it with a new method. But now if you see, we are not importing the import, so we need to update our import as well. So let's try to do that as well. We'll switch back to the XT Explorer, and what we'll be doing here is we'll also figure out, so this is what the first one is, import statement, I guess. If I export, we have import declaration, and then we have what else, specifier, import a specifier. How do I find this name over old method? Okay, so if I find all the import declarations and inside that import specifiers, then we might get it. So let's do it. Let's copy this whole statement from here. If I'm not wrong, what I'll be doing is I'll paste it again, provide it a comma here, and then I'll just use import specifier, and first I'll be just printing it. Let's print the node here. I'll just go ahead and print node. Let's see what we are getting. We have two nodes, and what is the first one? Okay, so node dot imported dot name we can do. So let's copy something like this. So let's copy the same statement from here and then we'll debug it. So I'll just go ahead and actually copy this part, and from in here I'll just replace this. So this is fine. I'm getting new method. So let's copy this and test in browser. So I just copy it here. I'll go back to, I'll just revert this for now, and I'll go here and inside create, inside return. Okay, I'll be this thing with this. This method. it, remove it. And now if I go ahead and do a hard reload, okay, now we are getting two errors for the import as well as this. So now if I go ahead and fix it, all of them are fixed, which is good. If I run npm run lint, I don't have any error, which is good. Now let's change it back again and we'll save it. We can also fix it by running command npm run lint hyphen fix. Fix, why didn't that work? Let's me add a command in package.json called lint fix, and call lint colon fix, and I'll say fix, and let me run npm run lint fix. Let's go back to inject.js, and both of them are fixed, which is good. Save it, run it again, and both of them fixed, which is good. So yeah, this is how you can implement a custom ESLint rule. Do let me know if you like the video, share it with your contacts, colleagues, and subscribe to the channel. That's all for today. Thank you guys, have a good day.